Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast. Today it's another 3 vs 3 4chan game on Highway to Seoul. And the team on the right side of the map is entirely Polish, and I believe it's Szczebrzeszyńska Brygada. That's the best I can do. That's my best. The name is going to be in the description of the video, so you guys can check that out. That was my best attempt at Polish, and I won't be trying that again. Now on the left side of the map of our blue team, Can-Am Productions, and I forgot to say who was on this team, and it consists of Nexon, Morpheus, 72, and Mauritius. And the left side of the map is Can-Am Productions. It consists of Rudmir, Leighton, and TYS 117. And again, the map is a 2 vs 2 version of Highway to Seoul. And I don't get to cast this map all that often, so this is definitely going to be fun. And usually the map ends up going, it's very easy to capture Bravo and Charlie, Golf and Foxtrot respectively for your sides, and the map usually revolves in who can capture these two territories here. And once in a while, of course, you can capture your opponent's side, but a little bit hard to do here in Charlie and Golf just because of the open territory in between. A little bit hard to get your units in there. And this is a slightly long game, so I may speed it up just a little bit from time to time if the action gets a little bit too slow and just makes a quicker video. And, you know, sometimes it gets into a stalemate, and, you know, speeding it up is always a good time. And all the units are out, mostly going up the highway to Seoul, that is. I think I seen a bunch of t-shirts a long time ago that says Seoul has soul. Seoul's got soul. And Seoul spelled like the Korean city, and soul spelled like the spiritual soul. So it's, you know, it's silly, it's funny. If you don't get it, then just try harder, think harder. Now the short arrows, moving on over to the left side, lots of Nana Shikis. Always got Nana Shikis, so good. And mostly moving straight up the center here. We have some helicopters over to the right side of the map, just some Tow and a Ninja at the moment. Not too much going over to Golf, mostly sending it post start of the game, which is very interesting. Centurions and Chieftains moving up the center here. A Leopard C2. We also have a Leopard CV moving up the center as well. See where he's going to be putting that. Maybe trying to get that to Delta as fast as possible. That would be very interesting indeed. And a very equivalent going up on the red team. Flak Panzer, Leopard 2A1 as well. Over here, Alouette, of course. Celtic. And VABs with ATGMs. Anti-air in there. All kinds of good stuff going on over there. On the left side, a big pile of ETPs. A US deck here. M8 AGS. And a Bradley's M1 Abrams. All the good stuff. So far, the battle has not really begun just yet. Some Rangers moved across the way here. May start to get shot at here by the troops inside the VAB, but not just yet. And F1 flying overhead. Gonna be dropping all over these Milans by the looks of it. No, gonna hit the road and hit a few things. Took out a little bit there. Mostly APCs, and gonna release the Jaegers though. And those didn't take too much damage. Look, they lost 2 per squad there. And Tow launching away here. Taking out some APCs. Nothing too special here. And Flak Panzer gonna take out that Tow, no problem. And right side. I think the red team has gotten to Echo first. However, the blue side of the team has the high ground, which definitely has an advantage of its own. And now the stalemate begins between Charlie and Golf, is usually what it is for the most part. And most of the game, it will end up being just a total stalemate. Hard to move across this open ground. As you can see, all the Highlanders and Leopards just firing away as soon as they come into sight in those wood lines. Very hard to make it through all this open territory. Trying to make it over this wood line here on the left side. But that probably will not last for very long. Some smoke would certainly help on the left side of the map there. Echo uncaptured so far A +1 advantage for our blue team, Can-Am Productions. Short arrow here, going to be hitting this Super Edentard, and can it take it out? And it disappeared and evac'd off the map, so no, certainly cannot take it out. Navy SEALs and U.S. Marines, ESMA also moving up here, and maybe it'll get to that Leopard C2, but no, it gets totally wiped out by a huge barrage, and Pioneer's going to be making it into the wood line, however, going to be running right into SEALs that are also destroyed by a huge barrage. 14 U.S. Marines remain, though. We'll take out those Pioneers. However, with the help of the Bison and the Leopards, not going to last much longer. M1 IEP here, moving up. There's a Chimera, Chimera, whatever you want to call it. I've heard that be called about 10 different things. And I play Warcraft 3 and cast Warcraft 3 as well, and there are Chimera in that game as well, and people call it like 3 different things. So it's whatever you want to call it. Battle going on here. We have some AP power blasting away, trying to get at these chieftains. And not going to last too much longer. Takes a shot there from the Leopard 2A4. Still a +1 advantage for the blue team. They do have Delta at the moment. We're going to be bringing in a Leopard CV, putting it at the back end of the forest line here, which will neutralize it. Put it at 0-0. Big battle going on here. Canadian Rifles trying to push up into the line. And surprisingly active over here in between Charlie and Gulf. Lad Stinger in a little bit of trouble there. Not going to be able to make it, and loses it to those Leopards. Marines and just a Bradley here, and I doubt they will survive all that long. These 15 Marines here in the Bradley, as soon as those Canadian Rifles push across. And it's going to get all lawed up, even though the law is a pretty terrible anti-tank missile. It will certainly get the job done against the Bradley, which has almost no armor, 4 armor. And there it goes. Now Charlie is in a little bit of danger. The CV all the way back here, though, will be fine for now. And now neutralized Delta here. 2 CVs, 1 on either side. However, the blue CV is in trouble, more so than the red. Much more defended. HQ section, not going to last too much longer here. Panzer Grenadiers spotted them. Moving that HQ section gives a +2 advantage to our red team. Now has captured Echo and Delta with these HQ on the move. No longer neutralizes it and lost that CV group. And now a +2 advantage will stay here for the red team for a while. And U.S. Marines holding out. And LVTP gets destroyed there. And just 11 Marines about to get totally surrounded, but there isn't a lot coming. 1 Pioneer, 1 Canadian Rifle, and 13 Highlanders. However, these 495s blasting away on them, and thus will not last too long. Pioneers decide to give the final blow with that flame. The 1 Marine still surviving. He doesn't really want to die there. He's staying alive as long as he can, which I don't blame you. Fallschirmjägers and Panzer Grenadiers pushing into the line that had the CV, and if they can hold this wood line here, then it would be very difficult to get a CV back into Delta. Really could only put it about here, and that would be very easy to spot with some simple recon, as those thin lines do not provide all that much protection. And it looks like Echo will stay for some time. The red team has a nice umbrella in front of the CV here and the CV and Delta, so those are going to be safe for a while. Could get artilleried out, but that is always just sort of a lucky artillery. You need to spot them first, and I doubt the Rangers can see that AMX all the way from there. F1 now flying across the way, and we'll see what it decides to get. And looks like not that much. And just gets himself taken out. Now Charlie has been neutralized. Looks like the CV destroyed. Don't know where the CV went to. The LAV moved all the way back here, which is very odd. I'm not sure why it moved all the way back there like that. Now a +1 advantage for the red team because they moved that LAV back. And now moving it back into Charlie. And gonna put it in the wood line. I guess he just got spooked and thought that there was more coming than what was. It was really only the Highlanders up here in that 495. U.S. Marines here might take out that Chimera there. And looks like they did not take it out. The Law, again, not the greatest anti-tank missile. And now a Leclerc. They're going to be blasting away at the Buntai and the Hodo. And speaking of Law rocket launchers, I actually seen that my small city that I lived in, actually lived just south of, some guy was arrested because he had an arsenal of weapons. And I live in the U.S., so you can actually have weapons. And it's not a big deal. However, the weapons that this guy had was a big deal. One of them was an AT-4, and the other one was a Law. Very strange. Don't even know how you get a hold of something like that. Even in America, where we love our guns, getting a hold of an AT-4 and a Law really isn't that possible. So how we got a hold of it, I really don't know. But the guy was arrested for it. And it was very, very interesting because my city is really not known for like having weapons or anything like that. So it was a very interesting article to read indeed. Still a +2 advantage now for the red team as they put that LAV back into Charlie. Almost losing my voice there. I've been talking all day. I was streaming earlier. And I saw this game and decided to cast it as it is the latest of the 4chan replays. It was posted a little while ago, but I just now got onto it. Highlanders are a little bit too far out, getting blasted away by the Leopard, the MBT there. Chimera still going strong, but spoke too late, and the Leopard 1A5 finishes that off. And now trying to push in Shiki G and a Roku, but not sure how long that is going to last, as that was taken out. HMV trying to push, and it is getting absolutely peppered up. I think it's the most firepower I've ever seen on an APC there, with the 50 cals anyway. That was about 4 or 5, maybe 6 50 cals, all firing on it at once. That is certainly not a good situation. Chieftain Mark II under fire now from the Leopard 2A4. And will not take another hit. And it's going to get into the wood line. It may be able to cloak itself there, but no, it is going to be a fiery wreckage. And it looks like our red team is pushing back here in Charlie. Layton has left the game. And not sure why. Perhaps he crashed. Who knows? And now with Charlie holding fairly strong here. Looks like they got it back under control as the blue team almost took Charlie for a moment there, but then stopped just short of doing so. I don't think they knew how little was actually in Charlie. Otherwise, he probably would have pushed other stuff from the back here into Charlie. But he couldn't be sure what he was going to be running into. Electric Voodoo and 2 Hornets on the way here. And anti-radar chooses a couple targets there. Looks like it took out 2 for 2. And 1 Hornet is destroyed. A double bomb here landing all over the Leopard. And doesn't take it out. And 1 lands in the wood line here, but there was nothing there at the moment. M1A1 trying to push up now. +2 advantage. Still going strong here for our red team. Utai 90s here firing away at the VABs. Multiple VABs moving across the way here. 6 VABs all firing 50 cals at once. You'd figure they would die faster than that because a 50 cal doesn't really mess around, but the Kutai is doing pretty well here with those Carl Gustavs reloading very quickly. Firing away on those VABs with really, really great accuracy, by the way. And both of the VABs taken out at once there by the 2 squads firing 2 Karakustavs. And now we have some artillery here, some mortars piling down on all of these troops. And subject to the blast, but it is all over now, for now. Jaeger's trying to hold this wood line here, but I don't think it's going to last all that much longer. We do have a CV Shiki moving in, more than likely going into Delta here now that these territorials, talking as hard, are going to be taking over that wood line there. And I was actually trying to mention these earlier. I was streaming, and I was trying to mention territorials. I could not remember their name for the life of me. But it is territorials for anybody that was watching this stream. Looks like a leopard there. I'm pretty sure that was a leopard. It was pretty quick. Didn't get to see it, but it looks like it was taken out by the M8AGS, perhaps. And multiple bisons incoming here, so multiple troops about to arrive. ADAS, a lot of missiles there. Gonna need to resupply that, but the supply vehicle doesn't have too much left, so I doubt it's going to get too many missiles from that. Maybe 1 or 2. And we have lots of Gurkhas over here, but separated by fire in the woods, so these Jaegers not going to last too much longer. All the territorials were destroyed, which isn't surprising because they're pretty bad. Really just a good meat shield. And pretty much just calls to be bombed instead of something else, something better anyway. Shiki looks like it was brought all the way over here, and it's in the corner here, neutralizing Echo, and we do have a Shiki CV over here as well, but it is just outside the range to actually neutralize Delta. Would put a 0-0. And so far, our red team with 262 points, blue team with only 35 points. So they definitely need to start neutralizing this territory here real soon. He could actually pull that up just a little bit and capture, or at least neutralize Delta and still be safe. It does have control of the woods now. And as I was saying earlier, it would be very, very nice for our red team to actually hold these woods. And then that way they could not get a CV in here, and they would pretty much secure Delta the whole game, because you can't really put a CV over here. It'd be spotted very, very easily. But they lost control of those woods now that Shiki's been brought forward a few feet, neutralizing Delta. However, the CV at the same time there was destroyed in Echo, looks like by that Peace Rhine, and gives a +1 back to the red team again. Highlanders, Pioneers pushing forward, 20 more Highlanders coming down from this way. And multiple troops still incoming. And IP and an A1 can push forward and attack these Highlanders here. Looked at the Highlanders, tried to launch at Eric's there, but missed the IP, or rather didn't kill it at the very least. And Bison's trying to push across here. MBT 70 though, taking them out as they come. Canadian Airborne pouring out from the fiery wreckage. Only 6 survived. And now multiple mortars and or artillery coming down. And here in the forest line destroys the CV from the blue team, giving a +2 advantage back to the red team. And multiple mortars coming down. Once again, smoke being dropped here, trying to push all of these troops forward. And I'm always glad to see smoke in Wargame, as Wargame smoke is super, super good in Wargame. And if you ever find yourself in a jam and can't seem to push on your enemy, grab a couple mortars and start chucking some smoke. Artillery can do the same. Although I would say mortars are a little bit better at throwing smoke than artillery, because the artillery just fires so slow. And your mortars can just be placed and fired over and over. Fire at some here, fire it here, fire it here. And it's much, much quicker. Tons of Hornets flying around in the sky there. And IP pushing forward here. Leopard C2s Take out that IP. And a CEV is pushing up the way here, but unfortunately it's going to get blasted away by these leopards. And not going to last too long. There it goes. As the CEV has a very, very short, or very long fire time. Takes a while to get it all ready to fire and go, because it is essentially mobile artillery. In any case, it would not do anything to the leopards because it only does HE damage. Additional smoke coming down, but there really isn't any push here, so the smoke isn't all that useful. Usually you want to have a good push ready, throw down some smoke, and then push it all at once. And Panther Grenadiers now trying to get into the wood line, but unfortunately they are just getting blasted away by the Challenger Mark 1 there. And of course the Gurkhas on the edge of the wood line. Canonian Jagdpanzer now pushing forward. This is essentially a Hetzer. About 8 Marines here, battling that with Canadian Airborne, trying to gain control of the center line here. Again, very hard to push on your opponent on this side of the map. Just so open. You got these big chunks of open space where walking across is pretty much suicide, as you can see here. Getting blasted away by the ESMA and the M1A1. And Panzer Grenadiers have made it into the wood line, but there are 27 Gurkhas here that are just hanging out, having a good time, not really doing anything, and just sort of laying on the ground. All of them taking a nap. It is nap time for the Gurkhas. And now the Canonian Jagdpanzer's blasting away. 3 HE power for only a 20 cost vehicle, just blasting away, having a good time. And now down to 15 Gurkhas. Could move those in a little bit there and get out of the way of those Jagdpanzers. Still dropping smoke here in front of these Milans to stop those Sakeless missiles, which is always a good idea, I suppose, as these Rokus here would be fired upon. But again, the smoke seems a little bit wasted if you're not actually pushing. I suppose it is saving maybe a Roku or 2 here, but other than that. And so many VABs here still, just dropping off all of those Jaegers. So he's growing a large collection of VABs. And Marines under attack here, just barely out of the range. Those Bison mortars. Still +2 advantage for the red team. 408 out of 750. F1 now flying overhead. And gonna be dropping here. And hits a really good spot. That was a very excellent spot there. And destroyed the majority of the collection of Mauritius's VABs. And I wonder if he named himself after the island nation Mauritius. Quick fact about Mauritius. Why not? Why not? That is where the dodo birds were. That was the only place where dodo birds were, the extinct bird. If you don't know what a dodo bird is, then you basically haven't been living on this planet, so I don't know why I'm explaining that. But they were on the island of Mauritius. And there's only a few writings on what they looked like and what they sounded like and such. I believe a university in England, I'm not sure what it is, I think it's Oxford. Not really sure which university it is, but they have a talon and a beak, I think, of the dodo bird. And that is where the majority of the DNA comes from. Why not? Good old trivia is fun. 14 Pioneers trying to move through the wood line here. They're going to have to move through this fire, though, and take some damage. And it always sucks when you get ordered through a fiery wasteland. Not taking too much damage, though. Not a big deal. They're Pioneers. They have napalm, so they should be used to it. LVTP trying to get into the wood line here and decides to turn around. Looks like those Marines grew cold feet, and they said, fuck it, and are just going to turn around, have a good time in the woods instead. Have themselves a sit, maybe build a fire, get some s'mores going, eat some MREs, which are actually really delicious. MREs are so good. Usually come with government cheese and these really thick, crackery, cakey stick things. I don't even know what to call them. That's like a big cracker, but it's super, super thick and very, very hearty. It takes a while to chew. Good old MREs. If you ever get a chance to eat an MRE, they're actually really good. And they have an unbelievable amount of calories in them. You can pretty much eat one of them and you'll be good for the whole day. Milans here look like they're firing up. And takes out one of those troop carriers. Just territorials, though. Not a big deal. And they give them the terrible gun. They just said, here, take this SLR and go kill some people, as they are militia trained. But I was thinking earlier, why not just get a moto deck and then get a whole bunch of territorials, and they'll be trained past the militia point with the +1 experience, and then they'll be actually reasonably good. But otherwise, they're just pretty much fodder, and they sort of convince your opponent to bomb them instead of bombing something useful. I think that's the best way to describe territorials, is to eat bombs. Throw it out here. Out of missiles, needs to be backed up, and a logistique needs to be moved over to the Crowdow there and give that thing some missiles. It certainly could use it, and it certainly earned it as well. 12 U.S. Marines here under fire from the 25 mil, suppressing them instantly. Unable to fire back at that 25 mil, and here they go. Should be able to fire that law at that TH there, but instead they are running away and getting wasted. Now a +1 advantage for our red team. Lost the Echo here. It was actually neutralized by this Hanbuhan. That's such a great name. Very fun to say. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it in your head. I know you guys want to. Hanbuhan. It really makes you feel good. I know you did. I know you did in your head. So many Hornets flying around, and it takes out that jet. I didn't actually see what it was, but it is dead now. And we'll see if it actually lands on something. Oh, it almost did. It almost landed on that Leopard. And that's always a good time when things land on things in Wargame. Leopard 185 here. It may be in a little bit of trouble. Canadian rifles coming. They only have a law, though. But it only has 1 bar of health, so pretty much sneezing, and this Leopard will explode. So those Canadian rifles should be able to get it, but they miss. A very critical miss indeed. And still neutralized here. The Hanbuhan, with only 1 bar of health, still alive. AMX 40s here could push forward and take that out. There isn't too much that would really stop them. And we have some Rangers here and the Buntai. They do have those Carl Gustavs, so perhaps that would be enough to stop them. Could use some more troops up here to move across the way. Still with a +1 advantage. They're technically still winning. Don't really need a +2 advantage, but certainly makes things go a little bit faster. BGS there, almost taken out, and officially taken out. Mortar is still blasting away at our red team there. And looks like landed on the AMX's. Smoke coming down. And I'm not sure what he is smoking for exactly. Don't really see a push incoming. I suppose to just stop the AMXs from firing, but they weren't really firing to begin with. And a barrage there takes out the CV. +2 advantage back for our red team again. 35 to 562 still. F1's flying overhead, doing circles, having a good time. And so many freedom fighters coming out. 5 freedom fighters on the way. And we will see what these guys decide to bomb. This looks like a sort of a screw-it effort. on Can-Am Productions' part. We have a Hornet in front there. Looks like that is their guard for the day. And the Freedom Fighters look like they're trying to get around the red team and perhaps get to their main base here in Alpha and then try and just bomb it to oblivion. And we'll see how this works out. We have another Hornet in the back there. And an M1A2 Abrams now moving out. The big guns have been called in by the red team. Now we have Mirage 2000s moving out here, but the Hornet in front will absorb all of those missiles. So there isn't too much left here from these Mirages. They shouldn't be able to take out too much. And looks like they fired on that Freedom Fighter, stunned it, but did not take it out. Another Freedom Fighter here doing circles. And the Mirages don't take anything out by the looks of it. And here we go, trying to drop on the red base here, but looks like they're only going to hit the Flak Panzer as they're dropping all over the wood line there. They did not know where that Führungs group is. He moves the Führungs group out of the way. And a Patriot has been brought in, but it is a little bit too late. A Leopard 2 CV is all the way back here. I'm not sure if that was recently built as a precaution against that Führungs group there from being destroyed. Perhaps that was just a anticipatory CV vehicle. Patriot was brought in to deal with that air power there, but the Patriot's a little bit too late. Only fired one missile, probably didn't take anything out. But now can be brought forward to the front lines. Is the Patriots always a good time? And it doesn't look like there are any CVs on the way here from our blue team. So it doesn't look like Delta or Echo or Charlie, for that matter, is going to be captured anytime soon. And that A2 now moving over to the left side here. Probably going to put this in position near these Marines, perhaps. See what he can do with that. M1A1 moving over to the right side here on the far left side of Golf. And all of these vehicles are nearly out of fuel. Looks like he took the long way around, perhaps, and almost ran himself out of fuel. Freedom Fighters now coming around again for another go. And we'll see if this works out or not. Hornets going after the Mirage now. After the F-15C now. And they do take that out. And now the CF-18 Hornets finish that off. F4 is moving on in. Tons of them, and Mirages. And here come the Freedom Fighters. 4 Freedom Fighters moving on in. And it looks like they're winding up those 20 mils, but not very good at dogfighting these Freedom Fighters. And here we go. Another drop is incoming, dropping all over this Leopard. However, there is a Führungs group still there. So even have taken out this Leopard and does not take out anything at all. And I don't think it would have taken out that Leopard anyway. Perhaps if all of them struck that Leopard. So a fun push indeed, but just really didn't amount to too much there. And U.S. Marines and Lad Stinger have been dropped out of those APCs. Look like both of those have been destroyed in the M1A1. Looming over the battlefield now. Detract M8 AGS for Soul. Could probably bring that up and take out that Coyote. It's been a quite annoying vehicle as it's taken out quite a bit. Black Panzer moving on up here. And this Canadian Airborne shouldn't be a problem. The LVTPs took that out. Leopard 2A4 here, blasting away at the Chieftain. And that will not last too long here. And I'm surprised that Chieftain cannot see that Leopard. The Chieftain Mark II indeed does have poor optics, whereas the Leopard has medium optics. But even still, wasn't too far of a distance. HGM Milan still going strong here. I think these are the same Milans. Pretty much been there all game. Territorials here have pushed into the town line. and are now going to hold out fairly well against all of these Panzer Grenadiers, but shouldn't last all that much longer. Now we have some artillery coming in on them. And they are just militia, and somebody sent them to defend against this entire army being pushed in. That certainly is not fair. And I wonder what happened to that Patriot. Oh, keeping it in the base there. That does make sense, as they were harassed by numerous bombing aircraft multiple times. Only 2 territorials left there. Won't last too much longer here. AMX firing away at the Hodu. And Rangers there as well. Still a +2 advantage for the red team. The all game, looks like the blue team had a few points at the beginning of the game, but just really couldn't hold on to it. And pouring out tons of coyotes here. This is the last ditch effort there from our blue team, but it's not going to be enough. And the winners of the game were technically our red team, both of them NATO though. Technically blue for it was our Polish team, which I'm not going to say the name again. It is in the description, and I mean no offense by that, but I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce Polish things. So there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.